Dear ones, I am Archangel Michael. Continuing the topic of the week. This is actually quite an extensive subject. I'm here trying to explain to you why a lot of things, how it all happened. No, I'm not going to get to your planet yet. The story is a little longer. I'm just explaining the beginning, how it all began. You have been taught that there is a constant struggle between good and evil. They were taught that there is a figure, who embodies all this evil, and who constantly wars with God. I hope that with yesterday's video this statement fell apart, because it doesn't exist. I will repeat this as many times as necessary. All beings, without exception, contain the divine spark of our Father or Mother God. So there is no one who does not have your love inside them. So there is no force of the same balance, of the same power, against him. Does not exist. This was the form created so that you could fear something and, mainly, fear evil, so that it would have strength. Because fearing an evil that cannot overcome God, no one would fear, everyone would always trust that good would always win and evil would have no power. So it was necessary to create a mythology, a story, that this entity exists. Very good. I already explained that no, and I will not elaborate further on this subject. I have observed in the hearts of some doubts regarding what I have said here. I just tell you, my brothers, that everything in the universe is controlled by our Father or Mother God. All this imbalance, which happened throughout the evolution of beings, was not a big surprise to our God, because everything that you leave free, that you do not have control over, is totally subject to being out of control, and God of course knew that. So let's not understand it that way, that everything was done without his agreement. It's like I said, he has control of everything, and if he wants to end whatever he wants, he will. So there's nothing to worry about. There is no need to try to understand why or how, it just happened. Minds have evolved, beings evolved, and some feelings, which we call low vibration today, grew and took shape. To continue our subject, I need to talk a little about dimensions. Dimensions, as I have already explained a few times, are made up of a frequency. Each dimension has a frequency, better explained, it has a frequency range. It is not a single frequency. So, let's say, that the stars, physically speaking, are in one dimension. I can say that the physical dimension of the stars exists in first and second. Then many will ask themselves, hey, but you said that the first and second were etheric. Yes, for beings, not for stars. Understand, they are different things. Then the stars are created, always from the first dimension, and then things evolve, the frequencies somatize, and the astro itself evolves. As it develops, creates its habitat, it also evolves, because not only do beings evolve, the stars too. Very good. So, when beings are placed in this astros, remember that I said back there that souls are nourished and created, until they can populate the planets. Very good. They are nurtured and created in the astros themselves, in the lower dimensions, where they begin all their learning, that whole process of understanding and adapting to that astro. It is as if the ethereal body of this soul, because at this moment there is only the ethereal body, was molding itself to that habitat, to that star, to the difficulties of that astro, and the astros evolve. Very good. So it's one thing to have an astro in the dimension he is in, where things are balanced in that dimension. Another thing are the beings that are there. It's often complicated for us to explain to you how things work, but it's as if, a very easy way for you to understand, it's as if the astros were gaining new layers. Let's imagine the following, there is an astro, he has just been created. It is rapidly evolving. He is created in the first dimension. Then a layer is formed around it. Imagine an atmosphere around him in the first dimension. Excellent. As it evolves, a new layer forms, in the second. It continues its evolution, a new layer forms, in the third. And it's as if they were layers superimposed on top of each other. So when we say that an astro is in the fifth, in the sixth dimension, he has already gone through that entire process of first, second, third, fourth, fifth, until arriving in the sixth, but it does not contain only the sixth contains all the others, as if they were circles superimposed on each other. So when beings are placed in this astro, they always start in the first dimension, and adapt there all the time, until their souls are able to evolve in that totally rude atmosphere, because the first is always the most difficult for the evolution of the being. And that being begins to resonate, begins to evolve, and begins to resonate with higher dimensions. So, it can already resonate with a higher dimension, like the second, for example. Very good. But depending on his maintenance in this dimension, he may return to the first, transit between the first and second easily, because it is your being that is transiting there, not the planet. The planet is already there in Friday, but it is still here, down here, he is not yet capable of reaching the highest dimensions. Very good. So when beings begin to populate the planets, which is the physical first dimension, which is the third, then yes, they gain physical bodies and start to live in the third dimension, but their souls can continue to transit through the second and first, resonating with that low frequency, depending on their actions, depending on their walk. Very good. In the same way, that being that is in third, physically, can resonate with fourth, it may resonate with fifth, and even with sixth, but the physical being remains in third. I know that for your limited mind it is difficult to understand this, but just think about this, your bodies resonate in a certain dimension, let's say in the third. Very good. The physical body, the shell, the clothes, lives there in that dimension, that entire set was made for that dimension. So he cannot move between dimensions without undergoing any type of transformation, because he was created for the third. Now, his soul, his feelings, they can resonate with the higher frequencies as well as the lower frequencies. So, his soul, his ethereal body, can move between frequencies, but his physical body cannot, he always stays where he was created. So, back in the beginning, the astros were all populated, all with beings in the third dimension. And then begins the journey of this physical body, which is not the same between dimensions. Back in the beginning, for there to be a transition, the evolution of a physical body to another physical dimension, it was necessary for this outfit to be extinguished, and a new outfit to be created. And so it happened over time. Beings evolved and the higher the dimensions went, those feelings that were not very compatible with the origin of God, created by God, were automatically eliminated. Because this is where the evolution of the soul happens. So, where can you conclude that in lower dimensions these feelings exist in profusion, in more evolved dimensions, they tend to disappear? Because then, souls become highly evolved beings, and no longer resonate with these feelings, because they are able to have within them, the full love of our Father or Mother God, that divine spark takes care of every being, and that's all he emanates, unconditional love. So, I think you can already draw a parallel to what happens on your own planet. Earth is not a third-dimensional planet, she is a very evolved astro. You are trapped in the third-dimensional layer. If it weren't for that, you wouldn't be listening to me here now, because this communication wouldn't be possible. Because this communication is only possible because a part of the body of the person who is speaking resonates in the higher dimensions, and there she can hear me, she can hear other beings. Not in Tercera. In Tercera she wouldn't hear anything, but her body, her ethereal body, already resonates in dimensions, even much higher. So she already has access to these communications. She, and everyone else who does this type of channeling. So it is in this way that feelings, these feelings that supposedly got out of control, but that we know otherwise, continue to echo throughout the universe in lower dimensions. But then many of you will say the following, but these beings are evolved. They are not third-dimensional beings. Exactly. So let's tell a new story. Let's start a new story, in which these beings evolved, yes, they have practically lost those negative feelings, those feelings that do not resonate in higher dimensions, but were attracted again by that power. It is as if a remnant, a piece, had remained within their souls from that time when they were powerful, dominating, who subjugated others. So these beings learned a lot, evolved, and brought them back to lower dimensions to continue their journey, as Quinta was very boring. In 5th, in 6th, in 7th and higher dimensions. That wasn't good for them, something was missing. They really learned everything they needed to learn, but those feelings were still inside them. They were just not disseminated, but were rooted in their souls. And at a certain point, they tried to make these feelings happen in higher dimensions. And then they were banned. So here begins a new part of the story, my brothers, and you will understand a lot. Because these beings who have all this power, how did they get all this power? Exactly for this reason, because they were once evolved beings. But due to an unexpected decision, they decided to go against everything again, and decided that they would no longer be part of this process. It is as if they disconnected from the source, as is propagated to you. But no one has ever disconnected from the source. I've already said it and I'll say it again, the divine spark is only extinguished when the soul dies. So there is no such thing as disconnecting from the source. This doesn't exist. There is a choice. There was a choice, an attempt at domination, at power, in high spheres, in high dimensions, and then not this. This was not permitted by our Father or Mother God. Because evolution has to happen, but never in the opposite direction, that is, a high dimension becomes a low dimension again because it is vibrating low. If the being got there, and he wants to vibrate low, he goes down a dimension, he doesn't stay in that dimension. And these beings were all criminals, exactly because of the choices they made. So I can already tell you that being in 5th, Friday, 7th is not a 100% guarantee of staying there. You may at a certain stage evolve into the 5th dimension, as you are doing now, but from the moment you start to resonate with feelings that are inside, marked, recorded, like these ancient beings, you come back. There is no middle ground. So realize that things are not that easy, it is not simply shouting, I resonate in the 5th dimension. Very good. So stick to it, because from the moment you deviate from the path, get out of the way, you leave, you go down again. This is a law. Why imagine, if the feelings, these feelings, start to rise in the dimensions? Our Father or Mother God does not allow this. Yes, it allows the soul to transit through these feelings, but in a single dimension. It went up, it resonated with these feelings, it comes back, it doesn't stay, is banned immediately. So my brothers, things are not so simple, the thing is not so certain, as many are imagining. I'm going to Quinta, but I'm going to do a few things there, nothing will happen. Try. You can even try, but you will only try once. So I'm going to keep that thought here today. Analyze everything that has been said, think about it, and tomorrow we will close this matter. Because then, let's start a new stage. Let's start explaining other things. This matter will be closed. I am Archangel Michael. I am here, always, trying to show you the path you have to follow, however, the choice is up to each one of you.